As I mentioned in the previous video, the File System Analyzer from Peer Software is a free utility that will quickly scan through file and folder structures to provide useful insights about the data that's stored there. This can be very helpful, not only to get a better idea of what's on your storage, but is a very sensible step to take before a migration of unstructured data. None of the existing file content will be read or modified during the process, as the Peer File System Analyzer only looks at file system metadata. By using the tool, you agree to the upload of this file system metadata to a secure Peer server so that the report data can be generated and supplied back to you via email. To request a copy of the tool, open a browser and browse to peersoftware.com. Click Products in the top menu, followed by PeerFSA. This will take you to the page about the File System Analyzer, and if you click the orange Analyze Your File Server Now button, you'll be taken to the registration form. Fill that out and a Peer representative will shortly provide you with your download link. Now, I've already got my copy downloaded, so let's take a quick look at the installation process. First, choose an immediate installation with all of the defaults or the advanced installation so that you can choose things like the installation location and whether to put an entry in the Windows Start menu. For this demo, I'll choose the immediate installation. Next is to accept the license agreement. There, the installation is complete. To open the File System Analyzer, click Start, then Peer Software, then File System Analyzer. The introduction screen describes in more detail what the tool does, what type of information is included in the final report, and a few things to note, such as no existing file content will be read or modified. As I mentioned before, the File System Analyzer only looks at file system metadata. For now, though, we'll click the Next button to continue. Next, we need to provide the project information. The asterisked fields are required, and I'll take a moment just to complete the fields. For mode, you can set General Analysis to get a good overview of what's currently being stored, or Migration Preparation, which will additionally offer the option to measure the access performance of the source and target storage to provide an indication of how long an actual migration would likely take to complete. Let's choose Migration Preparation and click the Next button. Now we can enter the necessary path information. Click the Add button here on the top right. In the Edit Properties dialog box, first specify the path to the data that you want to have scanned. This would also be the source for your future migration. For this demo, I'll scan some user data on this server. You can either type or copy and paste the absolute or UNC path into the field, or click the Browse button here and select it that way. Next, enter a description of the data in the path, such as user data, analysis, and migration test. In the includes and excludes fields, you can specify files and folders to specifically include or exclude. Wildcards are permitted, but in this instance, let's leave those blank and have everything in the dataset scanned. In the performance testing section, enter a target path to be measured for migration performance. I'll use a share on my New York server for this, which is New York /peer target. There. As mentioned earlier, the performance of both source and target will be tested to help gauge potential migration performance and timing. Then select the required ACL mask to use during the file transfer testing. For example, when you come to actually do the migration, if you plan to copy files with the owner and file permissions intact, select Owner, DACL or Discretionary Access Control List, and Group. If you also want to copy the System Access Control List metadata for Windows auditing, click the SACL checkbox too. Click the OK button when you're done, and your path will be added to the list. If you have more paths that you want scanned and included in the report, click the Add button again and add the next one, and repeat until all have been added. You can tick the Log Totals by Owner checkbox if you want that information in the report, but when scanning large quantities of data, that may affect performance, making the scan take longer. Before clicking Next, let's take a look at some of the optional data you can have included in the report. In the Upload Options tab, you can choose whether or not to have the report details emailed to you, and you can use your own email server if you don't want to use the default Amazon AWS one. In the Basic Logging Options tab, you can optionally choose to have totals by owner, all individual files and folders logged, and any hard links logged. The more of these you tick, the longer the report will take to generate. I'll keep the Log Totals by Owner ticked, and we'll click OK to close the Advanced Options window. Right, to get the scan running, click the Next button, followed by Start. Now we have to wait for the scan to complete. With the option selected, the File System Analyzer will use our fast scan technology to quickly scan through the file system metadata. When that's completed, it will transfer a 25 megabyte file to both the source and target to measure several variables that will be used to get an idea of just how long a future migration of the data might take. When it's finished, click the Close button to close the File System Analyzer, and you should shortly receive an email containing a summary and a link to the full report data. This is what it looks like. In the next video, we'll take a closer look at the report data and what useful information can be gleaned.